I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Richie Joplin, Ryan Douglas on the front row. Mark Dantuma and Kevin Bruner on the second row. Derek Schilling, Joel Talley of the third row. Larry Tittle, Gil Walk on the fourth. Paulo Anacito and Ryan Warp rounding out the top 10. Jeff Oakes starting in 11th. Next to Daryl Klotz in 12th. Gerald Thanos Poole starting in 13th. Mike Burgess in 14th. Steve Lindner in 15th. John Shermotz in 16th. And Jason Brooks rounding out the 17-car field at Road America. Porsche pace car begins to roll, the drivers right behind. I was talking to Kevin about this earlier. A lot of times as you see a bunch of gravel on the track already right through there, this is one of those tracks where a lot of leagues, when they come here, especially the oval leagues, when they go road course racing, only about half the field shows up. This is a large field for a road course, and stock cars could make things very exciting. All right, everybody out of the final turn. They're headed up the hill. Richie Joplin leads them down. And the green flag flies. They are away at Road America. And will turn one get crazy this time? We're about to find out. Here they come down into the right-hander. So far, everybody makes it through, no tire tracks. Looks like Shermotz may have gone a bit wide, the only one. Looks like he is already in trouble. Brandon, please delete that one. Richie Joplin has the lead at the moment. Mark Dantuma, who's very good at this track in stock cars, currently sits in third. We'll see. Jeff Oakes already up a couple of spots in the ninth. We saw him dominate road courses last year. Can he do it again here tonight? Picking up a spot here early as they start to come around. At the moment, Richie leads by about 7/10 of a second. Ryan Douglas, Mark Dantuma, Kevin Bruner. Bruner a little loose. Coming up the hill, looks like Richie Joplin will lead lap one. Kevin Bruner has had a problem. He is slow out of turn one. And it looks like a couple of problems on the first lap. Let's take a quick look. talked about John Shermott's appeared to have a problem in the early go. Oh, looks like he got bumped into turn one. He did get it recovered. Mike Burgess had a problem coming down to the right-hander at the end of the track. Oh, goes wide through the dirt, through the gravel pit. He also recovers. John Shermott appears to have had another problem. Looks like turn two on the second lap just overshoots that one. And John Talley has also had a problem. And down at the bottom of the hill, he goes through into the gravel pit. Definitely an eventful start to the race. Brandon, the first one was good. Richie still out front, 1.6 seconds. Ryan Douglas in second. Dan Tuma in third. Derek Schilling in fourth. John Talley in fifth. Kevin Bruner slipped back to sixth. And there's been a problem behind. Jason Brooks and Gerald Poole have both gone to pit road. There's Jason Brooks on the brakes into the left-hander. The back end just steps out on him. And it looks like he towed it in from there. Gerald Poole coming down the back straightaway, overshoots his braking point and gets into the wall. It is worth noting that tonight they do have a fast repair available. Normally the Home Motorsports guys do not have fast repairs, but tonight, because of the road course they do, we'll likely see Gerald back out on track. Richie Joplin did just set the fastest lap and is a bit faster than most of the field. At the moment, he was a full second faster than Ryan Douglas. Mark Dantuma still holds on to third. Derek Schilling in fourth is closing in. Derek has Slash on guitar, and that really is making that car fly tonight. Ooh, a little bobble there. Seen quite a few of those here. Kevin Bruner slid back to sixth, trying to fight his way back forward. Speaking of moving forward, Jeff Oakes already up 3 spots into 8th, and I wouldn't count Oakes out yet. Oakes is an extremely skilled road racer, as we've seen here in the past. And if you go back to the last fall, I believe, on our YouTube channel, go back to the Home Motorsports race at Circuit of the Americas and watch the skill that Jeff has. He doesn't actually turn through the turns there. He actually drifted half of the track. Richie continues to extend his lead as Jeff Oakes is closing in on Larry Tittle and Kevin Bruner. Ryan Warp, Gil Guac battling back behind. Mike Burgess back in 13th, Stephen Lindner in 14th. John Shermont has had a rough start to this. He is back in 15th. Yep, Brandon, I did. Gerald Poole is back out on track in 16th. And there is a lot of gravel on the track now. You can see it there on the left side. Remember, since the start of 2025, iRacing updated that gravel will stick to the car, will stick to the tires, will affect the handling. Things will get a little spicy out here. Ryan Ward has drifted back to 12th now. Daryl Klotz has made his way to 11th. Gil Guac in 10th. Up ahead, Derek Schilling in 4th. Still about 3.7 seconds behind Dan Tuma. Looks like he had a problem a moment ago, as did Ryan Warp and Mike Burgess. Let's take a look. There's Ryan Warp. He just completely missed his braking point, but does manage to keep it out of the wall. A moment later, Mike Burgess coming down the hill toward the same turn. And he goes for a little bit of a drift through there, almost right behind Warp. And Derek Schilling, as he heads off into the kink, just overshoots the kink, but quickly recovers. Brandon, I said I got the joke. I'm kind of busy. Richie Joplin is extending his lead every lap. They are within the fuel window now. Hey, good evening, Kenny. Cannot confirm or deny yet. Ryan Douglas extending his lead on second. Dan Tuma in third. Eric Schilling in fourth, but he goes wide. John Talley gets a run and takes fourth. Larry Tittle right behind. Hey, good evening, Russell. And there's quite a group back here from fourth on back. John Talley, Derek Schilling, Larry Tittle, Kevin Bruner, Paulo Anacito, all right there together, as well as Jeff Oakes. Will do, buddy. And it looks like a moment ago, or a few moments ago, Jeff Oakes and Ryan Warp both had problems. Let's see. Jeff Oakes coming down the hill into the, he gets on the brakes. The back end steps out right in front of several cars. He quickly recovers, but that's how he lost all that ground he had made up. Ryan Warp looked like he clipped a little bit of the rumble strip on the outside. He does pull a 360, points it the right way, takes off, but does lose a little ground. Ryan Douglas back in second, still 7 seconds, well over about 7.5 seconds behind Richie at the moment. Mark Dantuma currently runs in third. John Talley has now made his way up to fourth. Ryan Douglas is coming in. Are we about to see pit stops? Larry Tittle in fifth. Derek Schilling has gotten back to sixth. Bruner in seventh. Paulo Anacito in eighth. Jeff Oakes currently in ninth. And Gil Guanc in 10th. Darrell Klotz back in 11th. Stephen Lindner in 12th. Mike Burgess in 13th. John Shermont's in 14th. Ryan Warp in 15th. Gerald Thanos Poole in the grass in 16th. And Jason Brooks is still on pit road in 17th. Not yet, Kenny. Haven't had a chance. A lot of gravel getting out on the track now. Darrell Klotz has made his way up into 10th place and is closing the gap quickly on Gil Guanc. Jeff Oakes is still in the fight, is back up into 8th and closing in on the cars ahead. Paulo Anacito currently in 7th, and Kevin Bruner has just been bumped back to 6th. Derek Schilling back to 5th, and Derek is closing on Larry. Oh, Derek Schilling goes wide again. Schilling drops back to 7th. Hey, good evening, Nico. Here we go, the next round, everybody's coming in. Richie Joplin, Mark Dantuma, the entire top 10 is on pit road. Ryan Douglas completed his pit stop a few laps ago, but guess what? He has just had a problem. Here comes Ryan down the back straightaway, a little too much rear brake. The car goes around, he does quickly recover. Richie on his way back out on track. And here is an interesting note. Nobody has tried to stretch the fuel. Nico, I've been the same way most of the day, bud. Mark Dantuma has made his way to 2nd. Now he has slipped back. He had a problem back behind. Coming off pit road, Dantuma was in 2nd. He is now back in 5th and losing ground. Interesting way of merging for Kevin Bruner. See what happened with Dan Tuma. Remember, he was running in about second. Looks like the back end just stepping out. He does get it turned and pointed the right way, but the loss of speed and momentum set him back in a big way. Oh, Dan Tuma clipped the grass through the gate. Almost had a problem. And Tally goes to fourth. And Dan Tuma takes it back. And now it does appear pit stops have been completed by everybody. Let's see where they're running now. Richie Joplin out front. Ryan Douglas holds on to second. But 14.3 seconds behind Richie. Larry Tittle in third, about 5 seconds back. Dan Tuma in fourth, about 1.8 seconds back. John Talley in fifth, right behind Dan Tuma. Kevin Bruner back in sixth, just about 1.25 seconds back. Jeff Oakes has made his way back to seventh. He is about 2.3 seconds behind Bruner, but he is also the fastest car on track this lap. Gil Guac back in eighth. Paulo Anacito holding on to ninth. Derek Schilling has slipped back into 10th. Darrell Klotz in 11th. John Shermont's in 12th. Steve Lindner 13th. Mike Burgess in 14th. Gerald Poole now in 15th. Ryan Warp is towed to pit road. It appears he had a big problem a moment ago. Let's see if we can see what happened. Looks like turn two. Ryan gets on the power. No, I'm sorry. That's coming out of the carousel. Take a look down from the blimp. Coming out of the carousel, gets on the power, just a little bobble, tries to save it, snaps it into the wall. Ryan did end up towing it to pit road. Jeff Oakes' charge continues. He's back to Bruner's back bumper as they come out of the final turn and head up the hill. And he got a big run out of that last turn. Oakes now to 6, slides in behind Dan Tuma. Jeff Oakes, one of the drivers that did not complete his qualifying lap in time. So he had to start back in 11, and fought his way up to about 6th place once, had a problem, lost several spots, and is now on the move back toward the front. Richie Joplin is usually not a fan of this track. I bet you he's loving it right about now. He's got a 15.5-second lead. Gil Guac had a problem a moment ago, but no damage. He is still in the fight. Derek Schilling has started to recover. Whoa! Derek back up into 9th. Will he have enough time to fight his way back into the top 5? And good evening, Angie Louise. And speaking of people named Angie, the unicorn will be trunking right after this broadcast. So make sure you take a quick break, go get something to drink, come back and have a few laughs. We haven't talked much about Ryan Douglas. He's been second pretty much the entire race. He's got an 8-second gap on third place, Larry Tittle. Larry also just running consistent laps quietly. Ryan laying down a good pace that, man, the only person that's been able to challenge him is Dan Tuma tonight. Of course, Dan Tuma had his problem earlier, slipping back into 5th. And Richie, at the moment, just untouchable. With 10 laps to go, his lead continuing to grow. Looking over lap times, Richie has been consistently at least a half a second faster than everybody else, in some cases over a second. However, Richie is driving a Ford, so at any point in time, the car could just explode. Ryan Douglas still holding on to second, Larry Tittle in third. Whoa! John Talley in fourth. That back end was twitching on the brakes. You can tell in every corner we're seeing these guys sliding around. Those back ends twitching. These guys are pushing it to the limit on braking and on power. Kevin Bruner has made it back up to 6. He somehow got back past Jeff Oakes. Oakes looked like he was going to try and set up to the inside there. Still quite a bit of gravel there, and every few laps, one of the drivers does add to it in that turn. Hey, good evening, Frank. Paulo Anacito has made his way up into 8th. Derek Schilling back in 9th. Daryl Klotz in 10th. Oh, Kevin Bruner goes off track in turn 1. And he loses multiple spots in that one. Let's see what happened with Kevin. It looked like a peculiar wreck for that turn. Here they come down into turn 1. Oh, on the brakes, the back end steps out. Let's take a look at that from the blimp. Jeff Oakes was closing on him very quickly. Now there you see it, that when he gets just a little too hard on the brake, he goes around. Meanwhile, out front, Richie's lead continues to grow and grow. Next time by, everybody should be within the fuel window. We could see final stops underway at any moment. Oh! Gerald way off track. Gerald a lap down after his earlier incident, but was still picking up positions just due to attrition. Paulo Aniceto trying to challenge Oaks for 6th place. Mark Dantuma in 5th. We're about to have a 3-car battle here. Dantuma, Talley, and Tittle all nose to tail. Dantuma looks to the inside into 2. Couldn't get there. Larry Tittle in the Diet Mountain Dew car. He is protecting that inside line. But Talley may have a run here. And Derek Schilling has gone to pit road. This will be his final stop. Talley could not get enough of a run into that turn. He keeps looking, but he keeps leaving that inside open. Dantuma may grab it. Third, 4th, and 5th going at it. Jeff Oaks back in 6th and Paulo Aniceto in 7th. They are getting closer and closer. Folks, don't forget, Sunday is Father's Day. So GT3 NSS is off. We'll be back with SMRX Series Sunday night. Jones BS Racing will be back on Monday. And Retreads Racing will return Tuesday night. And we are just a few weeks away. You may have seen the post about it, but it sounds like C12 Motorsports will be going to the Gen 4 Cup cars. That season expected to begin the first week of July. Ryan Douglas gives up 2nd. He is in. Everybody else seems to be extending it. Derek Schilling, Ryan Douglas, the only 2 that have been to pit road. Darrell Klotz is coming in. John Talley now in 2nd. Larry Tittle. No, Mark Dantuma. And now Jeff Oaks and Paulo Aniceto are in the fight. Oaks slingshots by. He made, nope. And now Polo's going to go for it. Can he get the run? Oaks goes wide. And Paulo is on the attack tonight. Jeff Oaks now up into 4th. Paulo Aniceto into 5th. Mark Dantuma moves up into 3rd. John Talley in 2nd. And everybody is chasing Richie Joplin. John Shermott and Stephen Lindner both on pit road. Brian Douglas in 9th, Derek Schilling in 10th. They have both came off of pit road. Both have 4 fresh Goodyears as the leader is in. Richie Joplin on pit road for his final stop. and likely to see the rest of the field follow him in. And here they come, Tally, Dantuma, Oaks, Anacito, Tittle. Kevin Bruder is ducking in. Now the question is, how far can Ryan Douglas and Derek Schilling get? Ryan may be able to get back to second. Gil Guac also come in. Richie Joplin is back off pit road. And Ryan Douglas back to second. Can Derek Schilling reclaim some spots here? It's gonna be close. Looks like he's gonna pick up a couple of spots anyway. Schilling now to 8. And Richie Joplin just continues to walk away. Jeff Oaks comes off pit road now in 3rd place. It looks like Jeff took fuel only to gain some track position. We'll see if that works out. He is pulling away from the cars back behind. Mark Dantuma now back into 5th. John Talley in 6th. Looks like Larry Tittle also took fuel only. Mark Dantuma has reclaimed 5th, closing back in on Larry. But Jeff Oaks has pulled away from this group, and it appears Paulo Anacito got a penalty on pit road. He has slipped back to 10th. In fact, it also appears Darrell Klotz also got a penalty. Looks like both have gotten speeding penalties. They have slipped back to 10th and 11th. Five laps to go at Road America, and it has been a while. Derek Schilling has towed it to pit road. There's Schilling coming down the front straightaway into turn 1 on the brakes. Hard, the car spins, and he goes off way into the gravel pit. Sounds like Derek had some problems. His throttle got stuck. Couldn't get her woed up for the turn. Kinda sad. I was hoping for that Guns N' Roses paint to be on the podium. Daryl Klotz has had a problem back behind. Klotz coming up the hill into the left-hander on the brakes. The back end just stepping out. We've seen that so many times tonight. The reason we see so many guys losing the back end under braking, they move that brake bias as far back as they can get away with. It helps the car turn under braking, but sometimes it just goes a little too far. And getting word from Schilling, the gravel is worse than it's ever been. I'm definitely going to have to do some testing this week. I also need to test Gen 4. Should I do my testing live for you guys to get a chuckle at? That's the real question. Oh no, looks like Burgess is around. And it looked like Burgess in serious trouble. There comes Mike down into that right-hander we've seen. Oh, it looked like he had it perfect. Just a little too much power and he slams the concrete wall. And it does look like that engine is about to let go. He did end up towing. And a heartbreak for Mike. He was having a pretty good run here tonight. Folks, don't forget, just a few minutes after the race, the Unicorn will be back live. Even if you just come by for a few minutes and say hi, it really helps us out. It really helps out all the leagues we broadcast. Now, whenever we're live, just coming by, hitting that like button and say hi is a huge help. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. Tonight's race will be on YouTube later tonight, and I bet we get a few of the shorts out from tonight's race as well tonight. Ryan Douglas in second has a big gap on Jeff Oakes. Oh, Oakes is a little wide. Dan Tuma to third. John Talley back behind in fifth, right behind Jeff on the attack. These three have been going back and forth for a while, but Jeff Oakes was pulling away from this group. Jeff did not take tires on the final stop. He gained a lot of track position, but he may be paying for it now. Checks out, Talley with fresh tires shoots by. Talley able to get the bell. Talley goes wide. Oakes gets a better run. He'll take it back. And what a back and forth we have seen between these drivers tonight. D'Antuma, meanwhile, while these two are battling, Mark D'Antuma in third has started to pull away. And speaking of pulling away, Richie Joplin, just about 1.5 laps to go, just over 6 miles left. And somehow that Ford has not spontaneously combusted. It's a miracle. Jeff Oaks back and forth, Talley in fifth. Larry Tittle, who had lost touch with this group after pit stops, he is closing and closing quickly. He's just over 4 seconds back. The last time by, he was a lot faster than those two drivers. Kevin Bruner, despite his earlier issues, now in 7th. Gil Guac is steadily moved up into 8th. Paulo Aniceto holds on to 9th. He was having a much better run, but that pit road speeding penalty was a huge setback. Darrell Klotz currently in 10th. John Talley and Jeff Oaks have had a problem. And Larry Tittle has caught back up. They are 3 wide. Down through the kink, this could get wild as the white flag flies for Richie Joplin. And let's see what happened with Talley and Oaks. These two had been battling and swapping that spot. Oh, they just barely get together. See what we can see from the blimp. Oh, looks like Talley was coming in and just gets into Oaks. There may have even been a little bit of net code. Richie Joplin is in lap traffic, but it won't matter. Ryan Douglas 24 seconds back. Mark D'Antuma in third. John Talley, Larry Tittle, and Jeff Oaks battle it out. And it looks like these two have pulled away from Oaks. And Ryan Warp has gone to pit road. His race is done. And just a couple more turns for Richie Joplin. And here we go into the final turn with a 22.5-second lead. After 20 laps, Richie Joplin just dominates the win at Road America. Ryan Douglas comes through the final turn. He will come home in second. And Mark D'Antuma just needs to keep her pointed the right way. He'll come home in third. And let's let's see who in our top 3 we can talk to. Ironically, at the moment, none of the top 3 are available. We'll give them a moment. But as I mentioned, folks, right after the stream, come back in about 5 minutes. It'd be a huge help to come back and just say hi. Maybe have a few laughs with the unicorn, but even just coming by and saying hi is a huge help. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to transfer the stream from one computer to another yet. All right, looks like 3rd place Mark Dantuma is available. Mark, I have to say you sounded less than confident before the start of this race, but that was a great finish.
Yeah, I tried to give it away a bunch of times, but just couldn't manage to.
I have to say, you and John Talley, Larry Tittle, Jeff Oakes, and even Kevin Bruner early on, man, you guys were going at it.
Yeah, we kept keeping pressure on each other. We'd make a little mistake, one would get in front, and then they'd make a mistake, and someone else could pass. So it was really good racing back in the pack.
It definitely was. You guys put on one heck of a show, and I know this is one of your preferred road courses, and it obviously shows why.
Yeah, this would probably rate number 2 right behind Watkins Glen. I do love this place.
Well, man, it definitely showed one heck of a run tonight, buddy. Congrats.
Thanks, Doug.
Mark Dantuma comes home 3rd. We'll wait just a moment to talk to our winner, who should be... Here we go. Richie, you really can't complain about this track anymore.
I was just lucky.
Luck does not factor. Luck does not factor into a 21.5-second lead at the end.
Yeah, but I've sat and practiced like yesterday. I jumped on in there and I practiced for about like an hour, and you should have seen my practice. I was hitting everything. This time I just sat here and just hit my lines and just took my time and just talking to myself and stay on the track, stay on the track, stay on the track, stay on. That's basically what I was doing the whole entire time.
Well, it obviously worked. Yeah, I'm going to have to try that technique. Man, you came into tonight with the points lead over the new season, the overall season. You have the points lead, and you just made it bigger. Great job and a great win, Richie.
Thank you, Doug. I'm sorry I'm a little winded for driving this road course. I need a fan right here on me on the road course deal, but thank you for broadcasting. Thank you for Home Motorsports to let me race with them. Thanks for my sponsor, Ally Wheel Repair out of Greenville, South Carolina. You got to check out Navy Joe Coffee, and people need to go and do the Flaming Karma Coffee at NavyJoe.com. So check it all out.
It is really good. Well, great win tonight, bud.
Thank you.
Richie Joplin gets the win at Road America. Man, I think he was being a little on the humble side, especially as dominant as that one was. As I mentioned, the Unicorn will be back live. The Unicorn will be back live here in about 5 minutes or so, so make sure you come back, say hello, tune in for some laughs. Hope everybody had as much fun as we did. Man, what a race. Have a wonderful night, everybody.